It is a really gorgeous evening here on the allotment tonight. It's towards the end of March and the days are so much longer. I'm actually here after work because the clocks went forward an hour the other night, which means our days are so much longer, and today is just a glorious one. We've had such gorgeous sunshine, really warm temperatures. Tomorrow it's going to be 21 degrees C, which is very warm for the time of year. And yeah, on the whole, March, in terms of my allotment, I've been getting caught up with my winter jobs, so all of the hedges are totally finished, and I've also mulched all my beds and just doing a bit of tidying up and bed preparation. I've also started on that bed by the entrance, and I bought some new plants as well, some new hellebores and a new fruit tree which not many people grow, which you might be interested in. But it's a really exciting time of the year because I can hear the blue tits. I think they're about to start nesting in their bird box. There was a kestrel just moments ago, like just above my head, and yeah, the whole plot's starting to feel alive. Everything's waking up now. Spring is definitely here. There are lots more flowers in bloom, and although I haven't started off many seeds yet, I'll be doing the majority of that in April, because if you live in the UK, you know, we still could get snow, hard frosts, Baltic weather. Despite this really nice warm day that we're having today, it kind of fools us into thinking that it's, you know, really summery spring weather. But yeah, it could change at any moment. It's a bit breezy today, and it has been for quite a bit of the month, to be honest. It's been quite a windy month, but generally kind of dry, not been too wet, and yeah, generally quite pleasant, I'd say. So let's head up to the gate and see what's new for March. Well, straight away I'll tell you that this hedge on the right hand side is all tidy now, and the sycamore that was growing in that corner has been knocked right back, so I'm going to get so much more evening light on my plot, and I can already see the difference that it's making. As I go down, the left hand border is looking quite different, quite bare, although there's lots of potted plants there that I've bought recently. That's part of the revamp of that border. Let's see what's going on down in the pond. Well, I've just spotted this Primula denticulata, which has these big globe flowers on the top made out of lots of individual blooms, and that's obviously your perennials that'll come back every year. Oh no, this one's snapped off. I'll have to take that one home. I haven't spotted any frogs or frog spawn yet. I don't think I'm going to get frog spawn. I haven't for the last few years, and I think it's because I have newts that live in and around the pond, so they actually eat frog spawn, so I don't think the frogs even bother anymore. And just to the side of the pond we've got the saxifrage, this white one that's popping up, my heuchera, some carex, and the primulas, which I think I showed you last month, but you just get even more blooms on them as the weeks go by, and these are just naturalising everywhere now. Little daffodil, and also as I just pan up to the dahlia border that's currently got daffodils in, all of this vinca that's creeping along, that's your periwinkle. That's got lots of blooms on it at the moment, and the bees, and I've even seen quite a few butterflies around. I can even hear, can you hear that ice cream van? It's that warm today. The buds are beginning to open on my blueberry bush that I recently repotted, and then my lasagna bulb planting. Well, I've got more crocus that have come up a little bit later than planned, really. And the tulips are also coming, and these are a dwarf white parrot variety, I believe, and you can just see that they're coming through now. And there's also the grape hyacinths there to come in April. I have tidied most of the strawberry beds now. They're looking much tidier, lots of weeds removed. I've thinned out that patch a little bit and mulched it all with some compost. There's lots of new growth on the strawberries, lots and lots of plants in here. It really is my favourite fruit to grow. Oh, look at that view. blue skies, flowers, rhubarb. It's all going on as the apple tree today. Look, oh, my late type of rhubarb is also joining the party now. Look, oh my god. That Timperley early is actually about almost ready for picking. It's getting long enough. And as I just pan around, we've got new hellebores. Oh, I can hear the blue tit again. This is an existing one that you've seen every month, but I just can't believe it's still going so strong. I thought the blooms might give up about now, but they're still here and it's just getting better and better. And under the apple tree we have this that I've recycled from a chimnea that broke, and it has some of that erigeron there in the centre. That's a little daisy plant that I have everywhere, and I think those are some daffodils, cheerfulness ones that I grow. Nice flag tulip there, matches all my hellebores. But this one is the new star of the show. This is my new hellebore that I recently planted, and it's got this gorgeous sort of plummy, burgundy, winey kind of colour flowers, and they're really big as well. That's probably not the biggest. This one perhaps is, although it's lost its little centre there. But aren't they just gorgeous? And what I love most as well is it doesn't just have great flowers, but the foliage is also got this variegation, this sort of mottled, marbled look. I really, really love it. Oh look, we've got a lupin there coming up too. And I left the label in because I know you'd probably want to know its name, and it's Rihanna's Ruby. I got mine from Ashwood Nurseries. The apple tree buds are almost ready to burst. Look at them. I really hope we don't get a late frost like we did last year. Another lupin. They do really well for me. A lot of people seem to struggle with lupins because the slugs and snails apparently eat them, but I have song thrushes that eat the slugs and the snails, so they control them for me. I really love how it's looking this time of the year, especially as we go into April, May, when all of the forget-me-not comes up. Oh, it looks stunning. I can't wait. You see how we've got all of this forget-me-not in between all of the stepping stones. And oh look, I completely forgot that I planted that there. That's the Jack Frost Brunellia, I think it is. And lots of big daffodils as well, looking cheery. I do love the wren's song. It's so loud for such a tiny bird. And I've just spotted, I'm so pleased, I can see my alliums have finally come up. Can you see them? They look almost like, sort of like daffodils. Here they are. One there, one there, one there. Oh my god, there's loads of them. They don't look like much yet, but oh my god, the display that these blooms are going to put on is going to be phenomenal. Big purple balls. In time with the lupins and the foxgloves. Here I've got an apita, look, that's bursting back into life. And another little one that I planted last year. Gosh, everything's grown so much in just the last couple of weeks. And here's my hardy geranium with a dandelion growing through it. That's grown loads as well. I've given this area a little bit of a tidy over the last few weeks just to remove all of the dead wood, and you know, it's tidied it up a little bit to make way for all of this new growth that's coming. We've even got this vivid lime green new growth of a delphinium. That's the blue one. And over here, another lupin. I do love my lupins. Can you hear Steve singing? And there's some more alliums there at the back, and those ones are going to be really quite tall. And over here we've got more of that Brunellia, Jack Frost. I love that contrasty foliage. You can tell I like that variegation and the marbling of my leaves. And next to it we also have some pulmonaria, and the bees really love this, and it's got the spotty foliage, which is quite unusual. I'm looking forward to this one spreading out by its seeds, because I just love that bluey colour. Could be one as well for the border at the front, in memory of my grandma. She likes blue. I just found another one of the oh my god, hellebores that I bought. The size of this bloom, I mean look, almost fills the palm of my hand. Wow, I mean they're stunning. Look at that double effect, absolutely gorgeous. And this is the third and final one that I bought. Another more single variety like the first one, not as many ruffles of petals. Oh, come here. I just love that kind of colour, and I totally forgot about the tulips that I have here, flag tulips they are, of the same colour, so it's worked really well. And now outside my shed we've got my pots of bulbs, and I'm so pleased to report that so far so good. The rodents haven't got to them, and my tulips, they're coming up. Oh, I can't wait. So excited. And oh look, we've even got a big pansy there. And outside the shed I've started to use this bed as a nursery border for all the plants that I want to put in the new flower border once it's prepared. So we've got some foxgloves there that I've moved out of the Polytunnel, lots of forget-me-nots and primulas. And I moved these foxgloves out because it's getting quite hot in the Polytunnel at the minute, and it's time to harden these off before I plant them in their permanent home. There's something about that buttery yellow inside the middle of that primrose that I just absolutely adore. More tulips in my containers. Oh, that chicken wire trick really does work and stops the rodents from digging up your precious bulbs. How about a slow pan at the bottom of the plot? Here we are. Let's see what's going on down this corner. Another lasagna there on my table, similar to the one by the gate. We've got tulips coming up, as well as the muscari and a few more crocus that are hanging on. I didn't really think about the tulips kind of coming up before the muscari. That wasn't part of the plan. It might look a bit weird when the muscari do come up, but we shall see. It's been a bit of a fun experiment in the shallow bowl this time. And onto my trellis at the back. Well, my climbing rose has got lots of new shoots on, and they're so fresh and bright red. Look at that colour. Can't see any aphids yet, but if there are, it won't be long until the ladybirds wake up and take over the pest control for me. Next to it, the clematis that I recently cut back really hard has already got lots of new shoots on it, and it's hanging on, look, already securing itself to the trellis. I think there's actually a robin's nest behind here because they keep getting very noisy, and last year they did nest about there, so if you see any fly out, that's probably what's happening. Whereas this nest here is still empty for the time being, but I've seen them pop in and out. And actually I've just bought myself a wildlife camera to spot any wildlife that visits when I'm not here, so I might set it up, and this time maybe I'll get to see the chicks fledge. Well, my pots aren't looking that interesting right now, apart from this one here, more tulips and pansies blooming. That there is a hebe that I've moved from the border by the gate. And otherwise, the beds are looking nice and tidy, nicely mulched with compost. So yeah, I've mulched my beds, and this year I've used Dalefoot compost, and that is a compost that's peat free. It's made out of decomposed sheep's wool and bracken. It's turned into this compost, and I've not actually used it to mulch my beds before, but I think it's going to be really good at sort of retaining all that moisture because of the sheep's wool that's obviously composted down. But I just love mulching my beds. It's such a rewarding process because I know that I'm feeding my soil with all this nutrients, and it's improving the health of my soil, feeding all of the microbes and insect life that live in it. It prevents the weeds from coming through and retains all that moisture. It's just such a rewarding process, and I love doing it. So, and also it just makes your beds look really, really neat. So I've mulched them all. Still got lots more spare compost in the Polytunnel. Yeah, so such a rewarding job to do. And if you don't do it, maybe you should start. The garlic's still looking pretty good. No signs of rust just yet, but you never know when that's going to come along. And if I just turn around to the other bed for a second, you'll see I've actually planted out some broad beans. Finally. And I say finally because they're actually starting to bloom, and these have been in their pots for far too long, which is why the leaves, although are not as yellow as this picture suggests, they are yellowing a little bit, and that's because they've just been dying to go into the ground. But we've also got in here some peas, and I've made a really small little structure support, and they're down in here. Look, these are also really wanting to go out. I need to get some string actually to help them climb, because they won't really climb vertically. They're like little horizontals to hold on to. They're pretty hardy, but we've had such a windy day that I've put this protection around it just to stop the wind from drying them out too much. And yeah, it's a bit of a mess around here, but oh my gosh, this is my new fruit tree. Let me tell you about it. So this here is my new fruit bush. Do you know what it is? It's not a blueberry, a nectarine, or a citrus, but a medlar. And it's a really old type of fruit. It doesn't look very nice. It's got a common name that I won't repeat, but it's quite a medieval type of fruit. And they say it tastes like a cross between a pear and an apple, but I've not actually ever eaten one myself. And you don't really tend to eat the fruit straight off the plant. You have to harvest it and then essentially let it go off a little bit, and it goes all mushy, and then you eat it, and you can make it into a really nice jam apparently. And this variety is called Nottingham, which is basically why I bought it, because if you don't know, I live in Nottingham. And so yes, I now have a medieval fruit here on my plot. I haven't planted it out yet, it's still in its container, but I think I'm going to plant it behind the dahlia borders where I've already got a cherry tree, and I might have like a mini sort of orchard of fruits up there. But yeah, it's in really good condition. I don't know if it'll fruit this year, I have to see. Blet them, that's what it's called. You have to blet them. That's the process that they call for letting it go off, basically. But yeah, if you've got any suggestions or ideas on growing medlar, then please let me know, because it's a whole new fruit for me. My stone beds have got loads of daffodils in them ready to bloom. Excuse my little cold frame, essentially. It's got sweet peas in it. But yeah, look at all those daffodils coming up now. I think I can spot one that's actually in bloom. Let's go have a look. There it is. Hey! Narcissus cheerfulness. And if I was close enough, I'd stick my nose in it, but I can't right now. But they smell so sweet. And soon the breeze is just going to be filled with that scent when all of these come up. And in between them we've got the wallflowers that I've not grown before, and they're all coming up as well. Alright, let's go in the Polytunnel now, where I've got another new fruit hiding in here. Excuse the mess. I haven't had much chance to tidy this month, but I've got lots of spare compost. This is the brand that I bought, not an advert, not sponsored, but it's organic and peat free, and a lot of people speak very highly of it, so I'm giving it a go this year. And well, what have we got going on here? In my seed trays, where I've been propagating lots of erigeron, that's growing really well. It's got loads of buds on them now. My plot neighbour gave me some dahlia seedlings, which was very kind of him. And we've got more forget-me-nots, erigeron. My fig, this one, look, the leaves are coming out now. Let's just hope we don't get a frost, because last year we had late frost and they all got singed and dropped off. Oh, is that the starts of some baby figs? Let me have a look. It could well be. Oh look, can you see? They're already here. Aphids. I'm just going to brush them off until ladybirds wake up. Come on, ladybirds, we need you. I'm going to have to go on to the wide view. This is a bit better. Yeah, you might be wondering, what the hell is that? Why has she got this huge thing in here? It's not here permanently. This is the jasmine that's going to climb my bird feeding station, that dead plum tree where I feed my birds. And it's a jasmine, and it's got this really dark burgundy foliage because this is its winter colour basically. It can go this colour when it gets really cold, and I recently bought this from where I work actually. And it's got lots of new growth that's going to pop any day in those buds there. So this is my summer flowering jasmine that's going to smell incredible. And here's my standard fig tree that's just also coming into leaf. But look, we've also got a little baby fig. Oh, it's so cute. I'm quite relieved to see this actually, because it didn't do so great last year. Which brings us to my other new fruit for this year. I'm sure quite a few of you know what this is, but it's one I've not grown before. And this flower smells incredible. This is a lemon tree, and the variety is called Four Seasons, so it's known to actually fruit a few times or throughout the year. And yeah, I'm really keen to see how this does for me. I know they can be quite tricky to grow. They're quite susceptible to a few pests like scale, but I just need to smell this flower. Hold on. Oh, it smells so good. Lemons aren't actually that hardy for us here in the UK. I know they can take a bit of cold and a bit of frost, but if it gets really, really cold, they'll drop all their leaves and they won't really like it. So I've bought it at the right time of the year. Hopefully we won't get too many hard frosts now, but if we do, I might have to wrap it up a little bit. I don't really want to bring it indoors at home, but yeah, so we got a new lemon. Well, that's about it for the polytunnel. As you can see, it really needs a good tidy before I start all the majority of my seed sowing for this year. And let's see how the plot's looking. And here we are from the top of the plot at the end of March 2021. Nice to see a few more things in the ground. And that incredible blue sky. My plot is looking so much brighter now that I've cut all the hedges. And I think it's going to be a good year. I've got a good feeling. Well, as I mentioned, I haven't actually done a lot of seed sowing yet this year. So April is going to be chock-a-block with seed sowing. I'm going to plant my potatoes over Easter, I think, and also plant up my dahlias into pots, get them started off in the polytunnel before they go out into the beds early summer. And yeah, just loads of seed sowing and preparing and finishing off that border by the gate, the new flower border. So there's lots to do, and watch my blue tits nest. That's going to be really exciting. What's going on in your garden? I'd love to hear from you, and if you're growing anything different or unusual this year, I really need to start organising my seed sowing schedule. I sort of know where everything's going because I just rotate my beds each year, so I don't really have to think about it. But yeah, it's just such a nice evening. I hope you're having good weather wherever you are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.